Wind. We had just a fraction less yesterday, but nothing that is going to cause them any problem at all. The only factor that doesn't work in their favour is the pressure situation that arises at the end of these relay events. Crowds building up and enjoying the sunshine. 3,000 turned up on Wednesday for the first event here in Antholz, 4,000 on the Thursday, and it's been building ever since. Haven't had the count yet from today, but looking to be over 7,000 turning up, and some of them out on the course to support the 13 teams that will contend for the title here. Italy, team number 13, that's an indication of how bad their season has been so far, but they've got a little bit of class in the field today. The likes of Reni Caterinoussi taking the second leg, a medalist in 2 consecutive World Championships, a bronze and a silver in the sprint event, and Wilfried Palhuber taking the final leg. So the Italians could produce a surprise. Russia, they're also depleted with Chepikov, Майгуров, Drachev and Rostovцев, the World Cup leader, all absent. They rely on Bekterev, Kruglov, Konovalov and Mikhail Kochkin, their best runner today, going last. There's Hannavold of Norway taking the first leg. Now, he's not the quickest of skiers, but he's a very tough competitor. He'll stay with the leaders. I don't have much doubt about that. He may just drop off the pace as they come in for the first shoot. Good afternoon, welcome to Antholz Anterselva. The 4th day of racing here, the men's relay, the only event taking place today, and then the 2 pursuit events scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. Only 13 teams, a few less than normal. No British contenders in today's event. They've already headed over to Canada, in fact, training just outside Calgary in their Olympic preparation. But the Austrians are here and have to be considered amongst the favourites. They're certainly fast enough. They won in Hochfilzen 2 years ago. They won in Pokluka, the second relay of this season. So they know they have the making of a victorious team, but they're missing the likes of Rotman and Suman, 2 of their best. So the Austrians still could bring home a victory with Daniel Mesetic, the winner of the individual on Thursday. He'll be taking the first leg for Austria and should be able to give them a useful start. Gilles Marguet, who had a very useful start in the relay in Ruhpolding just a week ago, he takes the first leg for France. There's Volschlager of Germany. Experienced racer, but he hasn't done that much racing at World Cup level, and that could be a determining factor in his success on maybe not the prone shoot, but certainly the standing. We'll watch out for him. Belarusia, well, they've got a useful team. They've got the same team that was second in Pokluka. They were third in Hochfilzen. Didn't have quite such a good run in Ruhpolding, but the Belarusians certainly worth watching out for. Alexei Idarov, who's been around for many, many years. He's taking the first leg. And in fact, some talented athletes going in this first leg. Hannavold, Mesetic, Idarov, Bekterev, Gilles Marguet of France, Volschlager of Germany. The Czech Republic had Marian Malek taking the first leg, and Yanis Olsbolt of Slovenia. Watch out for the Slovenians. They could be the dark horses of today, just like the Slovakians were in the women's race yesterday. Hannavold getting off very fast. He'll fight to get in the top 3, and he may even want to take the lead to just slow the pace and control the race from the front. He's a good shot, Hannavold, and he shoots well under pressure, so he won't be fussed about setting a good pace over the first 2,500 metres. Track's holding out well, although the temperature +5 at the moment. It was way down below freezing last night, and the track's firming up nicely. But those going on the last leg are going to struggle a little as the sun softens up the surface snow. Skating not allowed over the first 150 metres. Once the bollards come to an end, then they can break into the skating stride. So it's all upper body work over the first 150. And Norway and Austria getting away well. Norway on the right of the screen, extreme right in lane 1 as the top seeds here due to their success in the relay this season, but it should be pointed out that the Germans have finished 3 relays and they've won all of them. But they still are only down in 6th place in the rankings because they missed the relay in Pafluka. Well, they failed to finish, I should say, with Marco Morgenstern collapsing on the final leg. Very conservative start from the Latvian team. Slightly surprised to see Oleg Maluhin right off the pace. I wonder what his tactics are. But no doubt about what Hannavold is after. He's setting a very, very stiff pace indeed. Look how long his stride is up the slope, with certainly with the left leg, also with the right. Depends on the camera angle as to how much of a view we get of that. But he's always trying to gain an extra 4 or 5 inches on every stride. And that's his secret to the speed that he achieves over the ground. And next to nothing between the leaders, but Maluhin it is of Latvia settling in at the back. They're expecting to see a big improvement over the next couple of weeks. They were hoping for some good results here, but they only got one man in the top 20 in the individual race on Thursday. That was Oleg Maluhin, finished in 19th place. And if we use the results from that individual race as an indicator as to how the teams are going to do, well, Norway once again come out on top with 2nd place. That went to Ole-Einar Bjorndalen. Frode Andersen finished in 9th. Égil Kielland finished in 10th. They had Dag Bjorndalen up in the top 15, but he hasn't been selected for the team, and that is a little surprising. But it gives away the fact that the Norwegians know that they now have to ski their faster skiers, who may not be so good with the gun, but they have to have the fast skiers in there if they want to beat Germany, Austria and Russia, and that is obviously their aim. If Norway were to come home with one victory all season, it would be the Olympic relay. That is the one they want. It's the one they have never won. Absolutely astonishing statistic, but they have never won the Olympic relay, and things always going drastically wrong on the big day. And the longer that saga continues, then the less likely it is that Norway are going to take the top honour. So Hannavold has controlled this one from the outset. French in 3rd, Germany in 4th, Austria 5th, Belarusia down in 6th place, with the Japanese up there. Now the Japanese could produce something surprising today. They had 2 in the top 15 in the individual, the best result they've ever had. But okay, we have to admit that many of the top skiers were absent, but still very impressive runs from Kyoji Suga, who finished in 8th place. And the key factor here is that both Suga and Issa, who finished in the top 15, missed more than 3 targets. Suga missed 3, Issa missed 4, and they still had those good results. So they're skiing like the wind, and that could well be Hirono Maguro. No, it's not. It's Gilles Marguet, in fact, who's gone ahead. Just looking for the Japanese. There they are, back in 6th place, just going ahead of the Belarusian team. The Russians with Vladimir Bekhterev quite a long way off the pace at the moment. The first of 8 shoots then coming up in 150 metres or so, and Gilles Marguet, just you can see how hard they're actually working. This aerial shot is a little deceiving. It is quite a sharp incline up to the range area, over the crest of the hill, and once they've gone past that giant screen on the left, then it's a fairly easy cruise into the range. But the pulse rate's up around 170, 175, and they've just got to relax to try and bring them down and focus all their attention on the task ahead. Ignore your rivals. And it's often regarded that the last shoot of the relay is the pressure one. Well, that's certainly the case if there are 2 or 3 teams in contention for a win. But it's these early shoots where everyone is on the range together where your concentration has to be greatest. Hannibal taking his time before he gets his first one down. The Austrians going well, but they've just got their first miss. The Slovenians have gone clear. The Latvians have gone clear. The Japanese with Majuro, they've gone clear. Poland are clear. Some unusual leaders here in Antholz. Norway finally get the 5th one down. Belarusia with 1 spare round used. The Russians required 1. The French required 2. Germany required 1. All the top teams requiring extra shots, and they will lose 10 to 20 seconds respectively on that. Slovenia, Japan, the top 3. Norway in 5th with Hannibal. Austria, good start for them. They're still in contention, less than 7 seconds behind. Italy within 11 seconds now, and the first prone shoot just splitting the field a little. Nothing too dramatic. No one getting clear. No one's got a comfortable cushion to work with. But significantly, France and Germany missing targets on the first prone, and now they've got to turn the pace up to catch back up with the group to be in contention when they come in for the second shoot. Camera focused on the German target. Wulschlager taking his targets down. 1 miss. That was absolutely smack bang in the middle. No problem with that one. And a close ricochet on the right, bouncing over to the left, and the 5th one going down. So Latvia, Slovenia, Japan, the leading 3 after the first shoot. But look how close it is. 8 seconds separating the top 8 teams. Just 22 seconds behind the French. That's the first significant gap. And these are the leaders after the first shoot. The first 3.6 kilometers completed now, and nothing splitting the leading 4 teams. Interesting to see the Slovenians and the Japanese in there, and the Austrians. Now, if the Austrians can stay in contention after the first 2 legs, or in fact they've got to be there after 3, because Hans Achorner, who takes the 3rd leg, I think that could be where it goes wrong for the Austrians. They've got Ludwig Gredler, a man of huge experience, taking leg number 4, and he'll make up for the absence of the likes of Rotman and Suman. But Norway still with the most powerful looking squad here today. And the Belarusians are also with a team that has won many awards, and they really are a good team performance. They rise to the occasion. Oleg Maluhin, who was at the back of the field after the first shoot. Now, after the first start, you remember he was 5-10 meters off the back of the group as they came into the rain. Absolutely cruising, came in to shoot, was the quickest to prepare his position, and rattled the targets down, no problem at all. So wise tactics then from Oleg Maluhin. Will he do the same for the standing shoot, or does he now think he's going to start to push the field? And it does look as though he's opened up a little bit of the gap. Majuro is wanting to go with him. Mesetic of Austria struggling. Hannibal has lost 4 or 5 meters. Right on his tail is Alexei Aidarov of Belarusia, with Poland and Italy not far behind. And there are the French in the back of the field, along with the Russians. So unusual scenario. In fact, this is exactly what happened yesterday in the women's. The French women were right at the back during the first leg and slowly worked their way forward to take the win. And the Russians, well, they were even further back to start with, and they recovered reasonably well on the final run, with Shona Usova bringing Russia home in the end in 6th position. But at one stage they were down outside the top 8, down in 9th, and then slow comeback. Estonia wearing a similar sort of suit to the Belarusian team. Team 12, that's the Polish team who've done what's required of them so far. Wulschlager of Germany looks to be has set just a steady pace. A bit concerned that Majuro and Mesetić have been too competitive for that second and third spot, and not sure that that is going to help their standing shoot. Whereas Maluhin has known exactly what he wants to do. He worked hard where it was necessary. He's let the pace drop over the last 500 metres, and that could well work in his favour over the next couple of minutes. The standing shoot just about to occur. No penalty loops skied on the first prone shoot, and in these conditions you would probably be right to make the assumption that it's going to take a team with no penalty loops throughout the whole relay. Now have a look at the telltales on the right hand side of the screen. You can see the wind has picked up. It was registered at 0.1 of a metre per second at the start of the race. It's building as the race goes on and the heat develops lower down in the valley. Now Austria with their first miss, but one target, still 3 rounds to get that down. The Latvians have gone clear, 5 with 5. Norway just rattling through slowly. Hannavold taking his time to hit the first target, but down they go again. He's done his job well. Now he can take advantage of the fact that he's one of the strongest skiers in the field, and he can turn it up and chase the Austrians and the Slovenians, who are both clear. The Latvians still doing well. Oleg Maluhin up there with Austria. Mesetić and Maluhin. Norway in third with Hannavold, 4.8 seconds. It'll be interesting to see if Hannavold can catch those two and go clear. Slovenia a further 5-6 seconds behind. The Germans 14 seconds off the lead. That's not a massive amount, but I'm not sure Volschlager has the ski speed to close it down over the last 2.5. Belarusia, Estonia side by side. The Italians still in a respectable position, but they've got their best coming second, so we could see the Italians feature on leg number 2. You'll notice the different positions adopted, with the left hand, the supporting hand. Hannavold, like many of the other Norwegians, resting it between the first and second finger. There are the positions after the second shoot, so the first leg runners have done all the hard work. Now it's just a 2,000-metre sprint home, and with time on this first leg, and waiting to see exactly how the order turns out. Latvia have started exceptionally well. The Austrians, with the winner from the individual race on Thursday, Daniel Mesetić, getting his first ever World Cup win, and what a run it was. Generally outside the top 30 until that particular race. He shot 19 out of 20, skied like the wind, and came home ahead of Ulе-Éinar Bjorndalen. Admittedly, the margin wasn't too big, and when you think that Bjorndalen missed 5 targets in all, he was skiing 3.5 minutes quicker than Mesetić. He took 2 minutes off Frode Andersen, who's the second fastest skier on the field, and he took 2.5 minutes out of Raphael Poiré. So Bjorndalen, after a lengthy rest this season, is back to his best ski form. It's now just a question of whether he can hit a few targets. So Germany were 16 seconds behind. They've lost a further 10 seconds to the leaders, and their second leg runner, who is going to be Andreas Stitzel, is going to be under a little bit of pressure to pull something out of the bag. Now Stitzel's not a bad shot, but he's nowhere near as fast as Volschlager, who's taken this first leg. So the Germans could find themselves outside the top 6 positions after leg number 2. And then they're going to have to hope that Carsten Heimann has returned to form. He certainly didn't look very good on Thursday, but that race may have been just what he needed to bring his level up. Austria have developed their biathlon team over the last 4 or 5 seasons, and the results starting to show more and more regularly. Won the World Championship with Rockman in Holmenkollen 2 years ago. Gredler getting a silver medal on the same day, the same race. And as I mentioned earlier, they won the relay event in Kapluka with some very, very impressive shooting indeed. So the second legger runners getting ready. That's Stitzel, and just behind him the Japanese team. The second leg is going to be taken by Hidenori Issa, who finished 13th in the 20 kilometre, and if he's still on that sort of form, then Issa could get back up with the leaders. Austria leading Latvia. Very early days, of course, in this 4 by 7.5. The first 7,500 metres just about completed. Mesetic has set the pace, but Oleg Maluhin has been equal to anything the Austrian has tried to do. The second leg is going to be between Ilmar Brisis of Latvia and Wolfgang Perner of Austria, and the Norwegians just behind. 20 metres or so, the gap between them. Égil Yellann taking the second leg for Norway, and he should be able to gain a little bit of ground, I think, on Brisis, but it'll be interesting to see how well Wolfgang Perner is running. Good strong finish from Alexei Aidarov of Belarusia. Now, slightly strange caption. A little surprised to see, was it Latvia missing or Austria? They had Norway in second place. That may be better. Belarusia down in fourth, 23.9. Germany 27 seconds. So Vorschlager not losing too much. 12 seconds over the last 2.5 kilometres. Slovenia in sixth, 28. And then there's a bit of a gap down to Italy, 41 seconds, along with Estonia, the French with Gilles Marguet, who had such a tremendous run last week in the opening leg of the relay. It hasn't happened in 2 successive races for him. And I wonder whether that is going to jeopardise his relay start in the Olympic Games. So there they have all the top 3 included this time. Austria and Latvia, in fact, given exactly the same time. That's where the confusion was. 20:43 for the first leg. Compare that to a time of 24:11 that Delphine Burlet, who was one of the quickest in the first leg of the women's relay. So 4 minutes quicker over 7.5 kilometres. Beautiful conditions, as you can see, and we've got a few days off. Certainly worth a trip down to this part of Italy, known as the South Tyrol. Just a couple of snowball throw from the Austrian border to the north. If you continue up the Antholz Valley, and if you head south, go down to Dobbiaco, and if you go a little further, you'll come to Cortina d'Ampezzo, where, of course, the Alpine World Cup is happening, and Nick Fellows is there covering all the Alpine action this weekend. So 2 groups of 3 to fight it out on this second leg. Belarusia leading the chasing group, and with them are Germany and Slovenia. The best result on Thursday of anyone in this first group was achieved by Marko Dolenc of Slovenia. So maybe he's the man who's going to come through. He missed 3, but still finished in 5th place. So that's an indication that his ski form is going well. Still waiting for the Japanese to appear. Got them back for a top 5 today. Austria looking very, very strong. Beautiful style from Wolfgang Perner. Égilj is hanging on, not looking quite as fluent. And there you have the chasing group. Belarus, Germany, Slovenia, 27 seconds behind the leaders. So the three leading teams can certainly afford to miss a target. And in fact, they can probably afford to miss 2 targets on the first round of shooting, but as long as they all go down eventually. Égilj has had enough of being at the back of the group and moved through with relative ease to take the role of pacemaker away from Austria's Wolfgang Perner. And the chasing group will be trying to keep themselves within 30 seconds of the leaders. Yellann starting to turn the screw. Not having as good a season as he did last year. He's lying in 19th place in the World Cup at the moment, but he finished 7th last year. But it was the latter stage of the season where Yellann really came to his best form, and no doubt that is what he's planning on doing again. He finished twice in the top 10 in Pekluka, then had a bit of a disaster in Oberhof, having sat out the Orsbury races, but slowly the form coming back. 21st and 13th in Ruhpolding, 9th on Thursday in the 20 kilometre, and so things working in the right direction for Égilj Yellann, and absolutely certain now that he is going to be one of the key members in the Norwegian team for the Olympic Games. Slowing the pace now. He's worked hard. He's tried to push the other two. Not sure that Perner has taken the bait as such. And Yellann finds himself with a little bit of space. He's got to go right up to the end of the range, shooting from lane 1, wearing bib number 1 as the World Cup leaders in the relay event. And Austria and Norway side by side, with the Latvian team having the luxury of a bit of space. And Omar Brisis should be the first to score. Well, he's the first to shoot, but he's already missed. Norway have missed their first as well. Yellann must now focus on clearing the rest and clearing the final one with his first spare round. Austria have taken their time, but the first 5 go down. No mistakes, and they've earned themselves a 4 or 5 second gap at least. It may even be longer. Yellann gets his first round down. Latvia still struggling. This could be the end of their good run. Ilmar Brisis, 2 misses so far. Can't afford another one if he wants to stay in contention with the leaders. He's cleared it eventually, but at least 15 seconds lost to the Austrians as a result of those 2 careless shots. So the leading 3 stay the same: Austria, Norway and Latvia, but the time margin has grown. 18 seconds or so Latvia have got to make up, and I'm not sure that Brisis is going to have the ski speed to do that. Of the chasing group, Stitzel of Germany has gone clear. He's going to be in 4th place now, and not quite on his own. The Estonians and the Italians are coming back. The Japanese targets missing all over the place. Issa's very quick, but he's got to clear those targets. That's a shame. They've dropped right off the pace. They needed to be up in the top 5 at the halfway stage, but it doesn't look as though that is going to happen now. 4 for Germany, Italy 5, Estonia 6. The Slovenians, they're still there, just less than a minute behind. Podium finish still possible. Nothing from the French, nothing spectacular from the Russians. So there are the top 8 again. And no very significant moves, but Latvia dropping off. They're 18 seconds behind now, and a little bit of work for Brisis to do if he's going to 5 of a second. And Yellann has done exactly what he did at the start of the first leg. He's just slowly closed the gap between himself and the leaders, and I guess at some stage we'll see him going ahead again. Here are the two leaders, the replay of their first shoot on this second leg. Good run so far from Stitzel. Slightly smaller figure than many of the German team, but he's strong, determined, and has got himself back to 4th place, although the gap 44 seconds now. He's got to keep it, 38 seconds between Germany and the leaders, 48 Italy, so Italy 10 seconds behind Germany, and they've done well to come back. They had a poor first leg, the Italians, with Paolo Longo, but Reni Catranucci, certainly their best runner, and he's on the second leg, so the Italians have got to get themselves in touch with the leading two teams if they're going to have a chance of finishing in the top 3. Brisis 18 seconds behind when he came through the last checkpoint, and he's cut the margin. Working very, very hard. I think his coach is going to be a little nervous in the range area. Certainly he'll be a little concerned if Brisis has caught up with the Norwegians and the Austrians. It looks like Sabine Buchholz, who took the final leg for the German team yesterday in the women's relay. An event won by the French women, with Norway in second, Slovakia third. Good run from the Chinese yesterday. Ribo Sun taking the first leg. Liu Kong and Shumai Yu the final leg. They finished in 4th, just over 2 minutes behind the pace set by the French. So an encouraging run by the Chinese, and I wonder whether they'll now adopt their they changed their tactics yesterday. They nearly always put their fastest two first and then try and hang on. They reversed the situation yesterday, put the least experienced first and saved their best till last, and it gave them the best result they've had so far this year. And just as he did last time around, Yellann overtaking the Austrian team at exactly the same corner, going wide, keeping the momentum going. Clever bit of skiing from Yellann, and he'll now set the pace into the range. He wants to control the entry into the range. That's exactly why he's gone ahead, and he's now skiing at the pace he would ski if he were doing an interval training session, which would involve shooting. That's what he's comfortable with. It's what he does day in, day out. And Perner of Austria, well, he can make the choice. He can either go with Yellann, or he can just move to the side and ski at his own pace. But at the moment, he's still concentrating on sticking right on the heels of the Norwegian, whereas Perner isn't coming into Yellann's mind at all. Just thinking of the task ahead, settling the mind, trying to use calm thoughts, which will help bring down the pulse rate. And a very, very steady approach from Yellann indeed. Missed one of the 10 standing targets on Thursday in the 20-kilometre. Perner, however, missed 4 out of 10. So a 60% rate up against a 90. If that holds true again today, then Norway could find themselves with a bit of the lead. One miss apiece, and Norway with 2 targets down. Austria, their first strike, but they're losing ground to Norway. Latvia with a chance now to close the gap again. Brisis with a very steady shoot. He's not taking much time to settle down, but he's getting through the targets the fastest, but just losing faith in himself with the 5th target. Norway cleared them all first. Latvia with 1 to go. The Austrians in danger of disappearing out of the top 3. 3 targets remaining. 2 rounds left, and Austria certainly with penalty loops to ski, and they're going to struggle to hold off Germany, Slovenia, Italy, Poland, who are all less than 30 seconds behind now. Stitzel, his first miss of the day, but should be able to go ahead of Austria, who are out of the range on the penalty loop. We'll see exactly how close that is. 13.8 between the 2 leading teams. The Latvians have done well to stay in contention. Stitzel has turned up the pace, and he's looking hungry for success here. He's up into 3rd. It's been an excellent run from Stitzel after a fairly mediocre start from Wolfschlager, who took Germany's first leg. Wolfgang Perner, well, he really shouldn't have let that slip, and I have a feeling that his poor standing shooting on Thursday affecting his mind. So Austria with a little bit of work to do now. Now the French coming back, well, they will have gained a little bit of time, but they're still a long, long way behind. The Japanese, here they come, 59.5. Issa has shot well on the standing position to pull the Japanese up 2 places, and they still could make it a podium finish. They'd love to beat what the Chinese achieved yesterday, a 4th place in the women's relay, and they're not far off it, 59.5. They've only got 12 seconds to go ahead of Austria. That will fall on the shoulders of Issa, who's just making his way towards the finish now. 15 seconds separating the leading team. This is Andreas Stitzel of Germany, who's worked his way from 6th up into 3rd place on this second leg, and given Germany a chance to show what their Europa Cup skiers are made of. All the A-team now away in America, trying to prepare themselves for the Olympic races at altitude. And Yellann looking very comfortable, very strong skier. Just switching techniques at the top of the hill, just trying to accelerate over the top. And here's the man that he's going to be handing over to. Well, they've got the 2 fastest skiers in biathlon still to come, and if that gap grows from any more than 15 seconds, then you have to feel that Frode Andersen can still afford to miss a mass of targets. It's all going to happen on that prone shoot, I think, for Frode Andersen. If he can shoot 4 with 5 and then clear it with 1 of the next 3 rounds, then Norway, I think, are going to be home and dry. It's very early on to say that, but I think it will affect his confidence. If he does get all the prone targets down, then he'll turn the pace up. He'll come in on the standing shoot. He'll shoot with incredibly quick rhythm, and pay whatever price he has to pay for hits or misses. But he's still fast enough to make up for that sort of problem. But if he were to have problems early on his leg in the prone position, then I think his confidence and his morale will drop through the floor, and that will open up a chance for Latvia and Germany, who are now the 2 chasing teams. The Austrians have faded in this second leg, with Wolfgang Perner having to do penalty loops. So after the standing shoot, he's still in the top 5. Well, Stitzel's worked hard. He's enjoying his first few races in the World Cups, and he's certainly not been outclassed today. Plenty of Norwegians in the crowd today and enjoying the halfway success that they have at the moment. Hannavold and Yellann have done a good job. They haven't opened up quite as much of a gap as they would have liked, but do remember they've got the 2 quickest men in the biathlon tour still to go, and it's some roundup to their relay team. And I feel fairly certain that the coaches have decided this is the quartet that is going to race in the Olympic relay. Frode Andersen It's a brave coach who puts him in the relay team because they know that he's not the most reliable when it comes to shooting, but he is so quick at the moment that he can make up for one or two missed shots. Well, let's watch the time gaps and see exactly what Frode Andersen can achieve. He's up against Latvia and Germany, who are the other two teams in the top three. Ravis Zimelis is going to be going next for Latvia. Three misses on that second leg by Brissis. And Zimelis gets the tap, and away he goes. 18.4 seconds, the margin at the moment. Now let's have a guess and say that Frode Andersen will increase that gap to somewhere around 34 seconds over the first 2.5 kilometres. Quite what will happen in the range, I wouldn't dare predict, but we do know that Andersen fast enough to get clear of the Latvians. Germany 45.7 behind, and their third leg runner Carsten Heimann, who didn't look very well on Thursday. He was way below par, very sluggish, slow tempo, and didn't seem to have any fight in him at all. I wonder whether he's recovered for this race today. Japan going out in fifth. They were 10 seconds, or just over 10 seconds behind the Austrians at the last count, and they've ended up 22 or so. In fact, that's a mistake. Just under the 20-second mark for Japan. So still the top three is possible. The French are starting to work their way back towards the top of the field, but everyone is going to start losing time to this man here, Frode Andersen. Tall figure, just over 6'1". Andersen having a chat with the team coaches just before he started today's leg, and I wonder what orders he was given. Not sure he'll obey them. He's very much his own man. Doesn't altogether enjoy the concept of team training. Believes he knows exactly how to train himself, and I think you have to respect that. It is very difficult to spend month after month travelling with the same 6 or 7 men, living in close quarters, and racing, training, eating, everything with the same people. And it's not easy, especially if you enjoy other activities that the others may not be interested in. And Frode Andersen is one of those who just likes a little bit of time and space to himself. So we're going to get another time split in a minute. Norway through the 6.7. I think it's a little earlier than that, isn't it? It's the first leg, the first loop of this third leg. And here is Latvia. 18 seconds they were behind to start with, now 25, so 7 or 8 are hanging on in there, the Latvians, and it is a very, very good run. They've got Jakob Nakums taking their final leg. Now, he's no slouch, and Nakums could certainly keep them up in the top three. I don't think we're going to see them fading away. It really depends on what Germany and Austria are going to do. The two teams fighting it out for third place at the moment, still 45 seconds behind. Germany holding the same pace as Norway. That could be a risky run for the Germans. Carsten Heimann has turned it up, so he obviously is feeling a little better. I guess that's inevitable. I'm sure the coaches wouldn't have allowed him to race if he wasn't feeling good. Rövis Zinelis, youngest member of the Latvian team today, and taking the third leg, where teams so often put their weakest runner, but it is absolutely crucial. And Frode Andersen is about to show us why. Now, I stand by my prediction. If he can clear these 5 targets without too much trouble, then Andersen is going to bring certainly Norway home after the third leg in first place. But if he has problems here, and it has been the prone that he's struggled with this year, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that he's not happy with his position. He finds it very uncomfortable. Quite why that should be. It's not a common problem, but his position has been his dilemma. But maybe he's just wanting something to blame for the fact that he misses so many targets in the prone. Having said that, not a bad race from Andersen the other day. He missed 5 in the individual, still finished in 10th place, but he missed 2 out of 10 in the prone. He missed 3 out of 10 in the standing. That's fairly average for him. Now, he so often misses the first one. If that goes down, maybe we're about to see one of his better days. Aha. Plenty of time. Too good to be true. Even he affords himself a little smile, but he'll be kicking himself inside. Down it goes. That could so easily have happened on the first time. And, well, there you go. Is the race won? I think so. I think Norway are going to be safe now. Still a long, long way to go. Another 12.5 kilometres and 15 targets still to be hit. But Frode Andersen is going to be over 30 seconds clear of the nearest rival. Latvia struggling. They've missed 1. Germany now a chance to move up into second should Latvia make more mistakes, but doesn't look as though they're going to take it. Carsten Heimann, 1 miss at the moment. Austria now relying on a good leg from Hans Achorner to give themselves a chance of winning here today. They've left Ludwig Gredler to take the final leg. Now, he's certainly quick enough to stay with the best. Not sure he's going to keep pace with Ole-Einar Bjorndalen, but he shoots a little better than Bjorndalen. So if Austria are within 25-30 seconds at the end of this third leg, they have a chance. Latvia go out. 43 seconds now the margin. It was 18 seconds, so 25 seconds lost. Germany in third. So no change in the order of the top 3, but the time margins have grown. The Austrians holding on to 4th position. Belarusia going clear, but the time's growing. And Japan still in 5th, so their good run continues. But they're losing sight of those in 3rd and 4th place. 25 seconds or so for the Japanese to gain 1 more place. They're going to have to shoot absolutely perfectly from here on in if they want to finish in the top 3. 1:19 behind. Belarusia 1:26. France 1:32. They've made somewhat of a recovery, having been outside the top 10. And Estonia improving as well on leg number 3. So coming towards the climax of this men's 4x7.5 relay in Antholz Anterselva. Carsten Heimann of Germany just going ahead of the Latvians for the first time. 5 seconds between them when they left the range, and Germany have reversed that situation, but still 52 seconds behind the Norwegians, who are away and clear, with Frode Andersen taking the third leg, and he's handing over to none other than Ole-Einar Bjorndalen. Bjorndalen, who's won the overall World Cup before. The last 2 years being dominated by Raphael Poré, but Bjorndalen won it back in '98. He's been second on 4 occasions now, and with his absence from a number of the World Cup races already this year, I don't think he's going to be able to catch the leaders. He's a long way down the order. He's lying in 9th position in the Men's World Cup at the moment, with a total of 262 points. Compare that to Pavel Rostovtsev of Russia, who's got 425. So he's around 160 points in arrears of the Russian, who leads. Raphael Perret has worked his way up into 2nd place and could go even higher on Sunday, tomorrow, with the pursuit event. And in fact, Poiret could end up in the yellow bib for the first time this season if he puts in a good run. He's going to have to finish in 1st or 2nd place to achieve that. If he finishes in 2nd, then he'll be 1 point ahead of Pavel Rostovtsev, who of course isn't here in Antolz, taking time out to prepare himself for the big event. I wonder whether he'll be regretting that decision when and if Raphael Perret puts in a stormer tomorrow. He's starting in 7th in the pursuit. He finished 1:21 behind in the individual, so cut that in half. So here comes the crucial stage of this 3rd leg, as Frode Andersen approaches the arena for the 2nd time. Under the bridge and up he goes. This a course that all these athletes are very familiar with. They spent many weeks here last year. 4 rounds of the World Cup, in fact, held on these very tracks. One of the very few places in the Alps to have sufficient snow at a low enough altitude to enable them to complete the World Cup biathlon events. So they know every inch of these tracks, and they must have come into the range thousands and thousands of times. Not so often you get the chance to come in leading a World Cup relay, though. That is the situation that Frode Andersen finds himself in. Germany with Carsten Heimann 45 seconds behind. And should Andersen make mistakes, then Carsten Heimann will pounce. He'll know exactly how much time advantage he has. Just emptying the 3 spare rounds into the tray. He generally shoots very quickly. Well, situation getting a little tense now. 3 targets, 3 rounds to go. What he's got to do is get them down quickly and pay whatever penalty he has to pay. There's one that's useful. That could keep Norway in the lead. If he gets one more, then Norway are certainly going to stay in the lead. But remember, each spare round taking 10 seconds to load. So 1 target, 1 round to go, as Germany are just settling. It's going to take a spectacular shoot from Carsten Heimann to catch Andersen. It's missed, and he held on a little bit longer than necessary. So 150 meters to ski for Frode Andersen. That will take him 25 seconds or so. Germany could get these 5 down in the next 20 seconds, but Heimann will just control it. He won't rush. There's 2. Andersen now halfway round the penalty loop, and that miss from Germany has ensured Norway maintain the lead. The gap of 45 seconds may well be cut dramatically, but Norway are away and clear. They're back on the tracks, and Andersen should be able to open up a gap of what should we say, 25 seconds, maybe even 30 seconds by the end of this leg. We'll see what he's made of, and whether he's turned on his full power, or whether he's going to save himself a little for the pursuit tomorrow. So away go Germany, 23 seconds the gap at the moment. That will surely grow to around 30, maybe even 35 seconds over the next 2,500 meters. Austria going out in 3rd place. They've kept themselves up there. Bit of a shaky second leg for the Austrians, with Perner missing in the standing position. But they've pulled themselves back, gone ahead of Latvia for the first time. and Japan have gained 1 place. The Latvians have suddenly come unstuck, which is a shame. The French have moved up as a result of Latvia's mistakes. The Russians are into 6th place. That's the first time we've seen them on the top 8 leaderboard, and Latvia now down in 7th position. So a disaster on the standing shoot for Ravis Zemelis, and it's been his weak point all the way through the season. A very good prone shot, scoring over 90%, but down around 72-73% in the standing, and he's stayed consistent with those statistics today, and has lost 4 places for the Latvian team. Anderson now turning it up. Beautiful long glide, very, very well balanced. And 25 seconds to play with, so Anderson losing 20 seconds on the standing shoot. 3 targets missed. He ended up having to ski 1 penalty loop, but Norway still with what we consider a comfortable margin. Up he comes through the time check again. Well, he's got his information. Yes, we will get a time check at 6.1. Another 1,400 metres for Anderson to ski. It's up and down all the way. Very little chance for rest here in Antholz. And it favours the better skiers. And Norwegians certainly fall into that bracket. Good run from the Germans. I'm not sure they're going to win. In fact, I'm pretty certain they're not going to win today, but bear in mind this is their B team, and they're still giving the Norwegians a run for their money. 24.9 seconds the margin at the moment. Carsten Heimann has had a tremendous run. In fact, he's pretty much kept pace with Frode Andersen, which is not what I would have expected. Austria looking a little more weary. Achorner going through at just over 45 seconds. He was 41 seconds behind at the start of this loop. Japan 1 minute behind and still struggling, but Japan have got one of their best still to come, and they could still finish in the top 3. Yoki Mashizuki is going to be taking leg number 3. It's been a good run from Kyoji Suga taking leg number 3.